Hi, my name is Patricia Flynn. I am Trustee Professor of Economics and Management at Bentley University. And I will be speaking about the innovation economy in Massachusetts, a little bit about the past, current, and the future. And in particular, talking about a report that comes out of the Mass Technology Collaborative, and it's called the Massachusetts Innovation Economy. This is a report that we've been doing since 1997, and we publish it every year, and we compare how Massachusetts is doing relative to 9 other leading technology states. These are states that are major competitors of ours on different industries, trying to steal our employers or our workers. And we also, more recently, have started comparing ourselves with other parts of the world that we are finding more and more spending additional resources on research and development, educating their workers, and putting more money into new ventures. So the good news, and there's actually quite a bit of good news for Massachusetts, is that we still excel in several really key areas that are important for the innovation economy. And those have to do with research and development. Our companies spend a lot of money, relatively speaking, on research. We also get a very disproportionate percentage of money from the federal government to our universities and to our teaching institutions. And these are funds that go into new product development, new technologies, and a variety of other innovations. So Massachusetts tends to come out second to California in terms of the total dollars, but on a per capita basis, we are well out in front and continue a very strong pattern of research and development. Another key area for Massachusetts is venture capital. Again, second to California, but remember California is 5 times our size. In terms of per capita, we are number 1, again, in the amount of money that venture capitalists support and spend on new ventures in this state. Other areas that we really excel at are small business innovation research grants. Again, we're number 1 in terms of per person. And these are critical resources for small companies. You have to have fewer than 500 employees to get one of these awards. And they are really critical for getting companies up and running. Another key aspect is our workforce in our colleges and universities. Our workforce is the most educated workforce, not only in the United States, but on the planet. We have 45% of our working age population in Massachusetts has a 4-year degree or higher, which is really quite extraordinary. The United States average is 31%. And this is a pretty amazing and growing percent in Massachusetts. And so that's really critical because the types of good jobs that we're talking about, well-paying jobs in the innovation economy, really are dependent on highly skilled workers. So there is a lot of very positive things to say about the Massachusetts economy and the innovation economy. However, several of these areas we are now starting to see increasing levels of competition from other states as well as from other countries, particularly in Asia. So for instance, I mentioned that research and development is really critical and our percentage is very high. The way they measure that is research and development intensity. It's what percent of our money we spend on research and development relative to our gross domestic product. And Massachusetts is at 7%, which is higher than any other state or country. So that percentage is very good. The problem is that several other countries that have a relatively low resource and development base are starting to really put a lot of money into this area. So, for instance, in the past 10 years, China has put in about 20% a year increases in research and development, whereas in Massachusetts we're at about 6%, and in the United States it's only 5 or 6%. So you don't have to be a mathematician to figure out that if they keep up at that percent increase, then they could well go ahead of not only the United States, but certainly ahead of Massachusetts in terms of spending on research and development. Other key areas have to do with talent flows. Massachusetts has a population that is actually growing relatively slowly, and as a result, we're very dependent on people from other countries coming to Massachusetts as well as other states. It's also very helpful if a lot of the students who come to school in Massachusetts would stay here instead of leaving to go back to their home country or to go back to another state. So we've been very successful in this regard, but the trend again is somewhat concerning because many of the students from Asia, many of whom come here and get degrees and pay full fare for their degrees, it's not that the state is subsidizing them, have many more opportunities at home that they did not have 5 or even 10 years ago. So a lot of these students who are coming to Massachusetts for degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, PhDs, have many more places and opportunities that they might take those skills and education and go home. So that's a concern. We're also somewhat concerned about Massachusetts students going to other states. For many years, we've had relatively high housing costs. Our housing costs are still high relative to many other states, but not as bad as they were in the past. Also, because of the recession and the economic crises, unfortunately, other states are not doing as well. So while Massachusetts may not be booming, we look good relative to some of these other states. So as a result, we've had many more opportunities to try to keep students graduating with, science, engineering, technology, and other degrees, keeping them in Massachusetts so they're able to really provide the talent to keep our innovation economy going. The picture about the innovation economy is critical for all kinds of businesses, small businesses, large businesses. I mean, innovation is a really critical factor if companies are going to remain competitive, even if companies don't have an international export-import flow, or if they don't have workers coming from other states and from other countries. I mean, innovation is really the lifeblood of what companies need in order to stay competitive. And just thinking about some examples, suppose a good example that comes to mind is the dry cleaning industry. Suppose you had a dry cleaning business and you had a traditional business, and then a company comes along such as Zoots, and they are willing to drop off your laundry, pick up your laundry, and basically do everything for you instead of having the traditional dry cleaning basis. So a lot of traditional dry cleaners, if they hadn't kept up with the technology and the innovation, could easily be out of business, or if not, certainly doing less well than they were. But now, even Zoots has to think about innovation and technology, because many of you are probably aware you can buy these dryer sheets that you just throw in your dryer, and a lot of clothes that people used to send to the dry cleaners are now something that they can take care of at home. Maybe you wouldn't send your best suit or some clothing into your own dryer, but the fact of the matter is companies such as Zoots, that was really stealing business from some of the other dry cleaners, are now themselves wondering what their next step is going to be and if they'll be in business 5 or 6 years from now. Other examples, clearly, you think of biotech, you think of computers when you're talking about high technology and innovation, but other examples such as furniture. I take my students, my innovation class students, to Jordan's Furniture because they basically say, yes, our furniture is, great furniture, but come to our store and see what else is going on. And if you walk into their stores, you might see a trapeze school, you might see a jelly bean replica of the Fenway Park. The whole idea is to get this whole family there to enjoy the experience, to have the students, the kids otherwise engaged, and the parents go off and buy a lot of furniture. And they are one of the most innovative and creative companies in Massachusetts, and it's a furniture company as opposed to one of the companies that we might think of as high technology. So innovation's always been an important factor for really key businesses like Procter & Gamble or General Electric, but with the changing environment in terms of financing, in terms of getting talent, in terms of opportunities elsewhere, all companies really have to think about innovation if they want to be part of the innovation economy moving forward. Copies of the report, actually the 2010 Mass Innovation Economy Index, will be available shortly electronically on this website. You also can receive a hard copy either through Middlesex Bank, or you can contact the Mass Technology Collaborative in Westboro for copies. And this is, as I mentioned before, an annual report, so if this is something you're interested in keeping track on an annual basis, you can go to the website of masstech.org, and all of the former reports are available on that website as well as future reports.